Hi everyone, my name is Dr. Harmony. I am a twin flame expert helping twin flames around the globe face fears, find freedom, and glow forward on fire. Welcome to my weekly glow show. Today's topic is twin flames, you were born to win. And I want to bring to the table a couple different things today. I want to share with you some inspirational sides of some shifts I've made. I also want to share with you some tips and ways you can get into the process of trusting this journey, because we come into a place of this. When I say twin flames are born to win, we forget who we are. We forget our identity. We forget that everything we need is inside of us for this journey. And we have to learn to come into a place of trust. We have to build trust with ourselves. We have to build trust with our guidance, and we also have to trust this process. And so I want to share with you some ways that you can learn to trust the process. But before I do, let's talk a little bit about that process. And, you know, I talk about the process of trust and going along our journey as twin flames. We came here to make a difference. We came here to impact. We came here to retemplate history. And it's time to take some accountability for that and to awaken to your identity that you came here to make a difference, and to be able to believe in that. You again have to believe in yourself. So how can you do that? You know, I mean, and let's talk about some ways of why you don't believe in yourself for a second so we can combat that. So most of the time it has to do with the I am not good enough, which is dealing with the way that we maybe have been raised in this lifetime. It's our culture, it's our patriarchs, it's the control that we've had, our parents have had over us. It's the belief systems that we've been taught on every level. And I've said this so many times, but I cannot say this enough, because this is where we're at right now, breaking these templates down, the old patriarchs, the old parental controls, the old belief systems, and redoing those. This is where we're at right now. And so wherever you are on this journey and whatever you're going through is merely the reflection of what you need to do to get in alignment with you, so you can do what you came here to do, and so that you can declare that you are good enough and that you came here to make that difference, and you came here to be a winner. And you came here to experience the best of all that is, because that's your right. That's your birthright that you came here to have. Of course, there is free will about that. But remember, you signed up for a contract. And so therefore, you can and you will get this job done. And it's just a matter of letting go enough and believing enough in yourself. And which is definitely a hard thing to do. I mean, I get that. I get that. But I am on the other side of a lot of things now. And that's why I want to share with you to come across that bridge to help make potentially your journey easier. So in that, I challenge you to start taking the steps forward, because we're too hung up on the past that we haven't let it go, and it's blocking our future. And the past that we're in that is like, where do we start? It's like taking those first steps towards something, but surrendering to that process that you don't really know what that something is. You just believe that when you move towards what feels safer in an aspect, when I say safer, moving towards something that is giving you inner peace, and that's removing the resistance that you have. Because it's the fear and facing the fear and the resisting that fear that's blocking you from going forward to reaching all that you came here to be, so you can live out becoming the winner you are. And I want to bring up a couple things about that, it feels like. So when it comes to making these steps and basically I'm going to say facing fear, because then that's what I teach people to do. It's the fear that what's the other side of the obstacle. It's what's the outcome. How do we move through that experience? So we freeze because we're so worried about what's on the other side. And this is where I'm saying that you're creating resistance in what could be on the other side. But learning how to let go of what could be on the other side and trusting that you're blindly going to go through the steps to get through it. And on the other side, it will then take care of itself. And to believe in that that's meant to be whatever the outcome is. But in the process that you stay inside of the inner peace and stillness in you without moving through the chaos of what could be, that creates confusion that is merely an illusion of the mind. So I just feel like I want to give you an example of what I'm talking about. So I just want to kind of see like what comes through with that as far as an example. Okay, here's an example I'm going to give you. So when I was going through so many challenges and so many different instances with my dog and going through court, this is the most recent part of my journey. There was a lot of fear on the outcome of the results of that, which, by the way, he's home. And thank everyone that followed me on that journey for over the last year, which, you know, right at a year that all this has taken place. In fact, as I say that, I did not realize it was 1 year ago today that he was taken from me. And when I didn't know that I would get him back, and it took 8 months in court to get him back. In that 8 months, I had to face every fear I'd ever faced and go through everything that I had been through up until that point in time and reface everything as a test. And it was refacing it again, saying, are you going to handle it your new way now? And if I didn't handle it the new way, the next teacher or the next experience would come in to recreate the same incident to be able to see that so I could handle it the new way. And as soon as I handled it the new way, everything around that would dissipate. But I had some choices to make in the process. And I went through several different attorneys in this process. Some of the things that took place in this was basically making history in the way things had not been handled and different things in the past and the type of case that this was. And so I had to like take each step of this journey with one in front of the other and could not see the outcome. But know that in front of me, I had to stay within a place of facing whatever that fear was for myself. Not this, it really had nothing to do with the case and what was happening. All of that was the trigger to see what was going on inside of me. And so I saw very quickly I was healing the abandonment that most people heal or go through and experience with the twin flame aspect that their journey, their dynamic. And that's not to say I didn't have some of that, but I was so independent, it took my dog to really break my heart open. And so, you know, in those choices, that what I realized was that as long as I let go of the resistance of facing the fear, that the outcome or the things I might have to do on the other side of that obstacle would dissipate, and I didn't even have to face them, or they never came to pass, or they shifted because I literally let go of the resistance of fighting of what could be and surrendering that and trusting that and letting go of that and just trusting that process. So about 80% of what I was afraid of that would happen or could happen or I'd have to handle or make the next step with didn't even have to happen because I was able to dissolve the whole situation by saying, I don't know what this is, but here, I'm just going to face this. I'm going to address this, and I'm going to let go of the outcome. This is what I'm talking about here. You're releasing the resistance through the outcome. Then what your fear of the outcome, 80% of the time, will not even be the outcome you're afraid of, because now you don't have to go through it because you got the lesson. The more you can go through this trusting process of this, the more you let go, of course, of your fear. And in doing that, you start to find the freedom, you know, within yourself, and to realize that now you can start to trust your guidance within you, your intuition. You can trust your guidance that you're connected with. And then that helps you build the trust in the process. Now, I was recently revisiting like this from a higher state of being. And that being like, this never goes away, okay? It's just a matter of how fast you can identify it and then transmute it. And this is where I'm going to tell you the 8 ways to build the trust, because basically that is number 1, is creating the awareness of what the fear is and what it is you're afraid of. And that the minute you can create the awareness of knowing that, then you can start to then number 2, know what your truth inside is, to be able to know that that truth can prevail, because that's truth. Creating the awareness of the fear, that is an illusion. So when you create the awareness of what the fear is, you can remove the illusion of that fear and move into number 2 of knowing what your truth is, and knowing that that is something you can trust inside of you, because you've learned to trust your intuition. So it's about trusting the intuition of knowing your truth. Then as you create actions going forward, as you're building this trust meter, you start to be able to speak that truth now from the heart with more confidence and clarity. And it's about then being an effective communicator, to be able to express from your heart, because you bypassed the head. This then allows you to do number 4, which is learn to stand in your truth, which means you're staying committed to you, which means you're standing up for what that is. But when I say that, I also want you to know something. In this process of this journey where it can get confusing is, 1, we have to like repeat these tests twice. Once in one direction to handle it one way, to get one lesson, once in another direction to handle it another way, to get basically a new lesson. And it gets confusing because you think that's what the lesson was at first. Now I got to learn a new lesson doing it. You know, I had this conversation with a friend last night about that aspect. And it's like, well, and I'll give you an example. For me, I was telling her this. I was getting a new attorney based on some things that weren't correctly done in my case. And it was about, first of all, I had to come up to the fear of what will I have to do if what consequences would like come to place if I had to handle that in addition to my case. And making the commitment that I didn't have to stay in that scenario with that relationship anymore. I could step in empowerment and take back my power by getting in a new attorney. Then after getting the new attorney, even with fears of that, like, okay, now, you know, this is even more expensive. How am I going to pay for that? You know, the list could go on and on. You know, where's that money coming from? But trusting that if I'm in the middle of this, I'll be taken care of, and what I need for this journey is coming, and it did. But then in addition to that, now basically saying also, so kind of, I want to backtrack. So the kind of like the first lesson coming in that is about finding your truth in a place of empowerment, knowing that you kind of had to handle some things on your own without external help, meaning like you maybe need to stand up a little bit more stronger for yourself and know that like certain people weren't handling things for you because you had to learn to handle some things for yourself. Lesson number 1. Lesson number 2, that now you identified that you handled that lesson. Now the second choice and the second biggest lesson of that is I can choose to move out of that situation and leave the situation now. Okay, and to say that now gave me the greatest lesson of it, of taking back my power to shift beyond this whole scenario and to basically end that type of relationship into a new relationship. Then your vibration goes up in this, and the new people you attract to come in for your helpers like this will come in at your higher vibration and be able to deliver now a new strategy, a new way. And I said I wasn't paying for an attorney. I was paying to learn personal empowerment from a bulldog of a woman that knew how to handle my case. That was what I was paying for. And it was very powerful. And I understood that. I knew it was like paying for school. Even though all the external things were happening, I knew what I was learning. So this is allowing us to then speak our truth. And then that's the fourth one in that is standing in that truth. So one end you're getting to stand up or speak for yourself, and then you're getting to stand up for itself, and those might be in reverse patterns, meaning they're going to be conflicting because you're having to learn two sides of the coin in the same scenario. Okay, I know it's very deep, so I'm trying to make sure I say it in enough ways that it makes sense, because it's very, very deep when I say that. Then in number 5 in this is about you then realizing that what you just did was having respect for yourself in the process. And as you have respect for yourself, and this is kind of step number 5 of this, it generates other people respecting you. But now in number 6 in this, you have to be open to receive that. You have to keep your vibration up and open to allow the type of people to come in that can now help you. Because whether they're helping you in a way and being what you feel is stuck, or whether they're helping you move forward, both are helping you. But in one way, it's helping you see the issue, and the other way, it's helping you move past the issue, which is kind of the two sides of the coin I'm speaking of here. So at the end of the day, now you do begin to trust what's happening in this, creating your awareness to move beyond your illusions, to identify your truth, which is really tapping into your intuition and believing in that, so that you can now speak it from the heart, so you have very effective communication skills, so that you can then stand in your truth and communicate what that is, which is having respect for yourself, which will generate respect from other people, that will help you remain, now you will be open to allowing the right person to come in and get the job done from that place. And in doing this, then you start to believe in yourself, which is seeing your greatness, which is helping teach you the self-acceptance. And when you start to get that, and it becomes in this really like deep-seated knowing of your truth, and you really are trusting it now, you start to become contagious and courageous and confident. And you're able to give off the energetic vibration that's attracting towards you that which you're seeking to begin with. And now number 8 in that, number 7 was seeing your greatness and believing in yourself, basically. Number 8 is being intentional in all of this. Being intentional in your trust. Meaning like any action now you take, the actions portions of this, they have to be intentional. Meaning, what is your intention behind the action? Are you doing it out of the fear? And if you're doing it out of the fear, you're going to keep being stuck until you see the fear and go through the cycle, breaking the resistance and letting it go and moving beyond it. But if you see it intentionally out of the idea that you're moving beyond that illusion, and that you're doing it intentionally from a space of like connecting to no attachment, is I think would be a good word here. So a lot of times we put intentions out of what we want and what we seek, but we have an attachment to this outcome. And if it doesn't meet our expectations through these things and conditions, then we're in that cycle. And it's like, oh, I'm trying it, I'm doing it, but you're creating the same cycle. So if your intention is free of conditions and expectations and outcome, and you're just moving within the flow of that process and allowing it to unfold, then the outcomes will far exceed your expectations to begin with. So I want to, as I mentioned, I want to give you a few examples of my new scenarios with this from my higher state of being of the same thing, you know, going through, say, last year of the court case. Now, like I'm going through some of the similar things, but it's from a state of my greatness and my light and my inspiration. So that's where I said I want to share with you kind of like some inspiration of this, because you are born to win, and don't let this fear block you from achieving your winner status. It's time to bring home the gold in all areas of your life. So I was recently mentioned that, and if I'm talking the talk, I can promise I'm walking the walk. So, you know, I've told you all going through these portals of the eclipse through July, at the end of July, which my birthday was on the 27th with the big, total lunar eclipse and the full blood moon and all those things. We have another one coming up on August 11th, the eclipse coming up with that, creating the 3-step process here of closing this portal of our old ways So just like I told you guys, it's like, where am I at? And everything's great. Like, I don't really have karma to release anymore. I feel like when I closed out everything with the dog, you know, most of that closed out. There was some things with the relationship aspect that came back through that are like, those pieces are coming into harmony. And there's a lot to be said about that is I'm still processing, and there's so much still evolving in that aspect that, like, there's going to be in a book, and when the timing's right, I'll share even more of that. But in addition to that, if I looked at my personal self and my personal life and my mission, it was like, what is not serving me purpose? So I made a list, and I started looking at, what is it I need to let go of? What do I need to surrender? You know, do I really trust this process? Am I hanging on to things that maybe I could be better and have more greatness and win at a higher degree here than just being status quo where I'm at right now? Can I expand? You know, we're here to evolve and grow. So how can I keep that up, even though, you know, I might have cleared the karma? And one of the things, if most of you follow me, know that I'm a chiropractor. And so I've been making the announcement to patients over the last couple weeks, at the end of September, I will no longer be a practicing chiropractor. And that decision came out of this transition of everything I've told you guys to do through my own journey. And in that process, it's a lot of bittersweet, because that was my vehicle that got me here in front of you. That's the vehicle that took me down the entire path I need to learn and understand quantum physics. I've only been going in for the last several years, 1 day a week, to see patients because I'm giving back and serving. They've been with me for over 20 years, some of them, and, you know, there's that love and compassion and connectivity and, you know, honoring them for them following my journey to hell and back, and the ones that have stayed with me in that process. But it came down to, what's serving me purpose now, and what is my future, and what am I to do? Because guidance was having me like saying, we need you over here. We got this. We have this new program we want you to implement. We have your expansion. Here's these things you need to do. And I'm looking at this table going, what has to give? And so out of that, you know, I released and I'm letting go of something that's very valuable and great and is not even a bad thing in my life, in order to open the expansion for me to expand into new things that are more connected to me now, things that, you know, to share more of myself in these programs that they have me to do, because I've downloaded, I tell you guys, I download this stuff all the time, and it's like, I have a whole lifetime full of things to implement and put into place, and how I get these done. So they showed me even how I'm going to get that done. So even the way my coaching practice and things that I do is also evolving and changing in a beautiful way to also help other people get in their own missions. That's where people are being blocked, and I was being called, you got to help these people get into mission, not just reboot their soul, but they're getting their soul rebooted, and now they're stuck because they don't know how to go forward with their mission. And I walked the path to get into mission. And I need to also share and show that, so that I can teach people kind of what I do on one end that are stuck in their mission, but that puts me in a position to help others get into their mission. And it's a very beautiful thing. So I have all these things that I've rolled out in the last 3 weeks of, I literally like made this decision like about 3 to 4 weeks ago. And I had even signed a lease on my space starting in July, that now I had this chiropractor coming in. He's taking over that lease. My landlord already didn't think I'd renew because she'd been seeing some really great things with me. But it's just, we have to let go of something to create the space for something bigger, better, bolder, more beautiful, more of who we are now. And that's what I've done in that. So I had to walk this walk to do what I'm telling you. I had to trust this. I had to get past so many thoughts, barriers. Well, you know, why can't I just continue to do this? We don't, here's the key. We don't wait to get where we want to go and get there. We have a vision and an intuition and an understanding of where we're going in some of that, even if it's not a picture, but a knowing, but we create the space for it. For me, the space has been 2 things, and I want to share with you how those 2 things have just been popping up left and right. One is creating room for the beloved, because I'm so involved in mission and I love it. I love what I do. So I knew that I had to open the space for beloved, before beloved to reappear in a new way, and to be able to match even that higher vibration of who I am. So I started creating more space. It was already a thought. I needed to create space, but I knew I had to like start making room. And the instant I did, it shifted the dynamic. The instant I let go of my practice in thought, my other, chiropractic practice, my coaching practice has done a like blast off of things happening with that in a beautiful, expansive way, but I had to create the space for that. Another thing for me personally is I want to be have more fun. I want to be more balanced. I don't want to just work all the time. To me, it's not work because I'm in my livelihood and I love everything about what I do. And from the outside, it looks like I'm busy, but I don't exactly want to give off the busy signal. So I want to give you an example of that. Just a couple of days ago, one of the connectors, one of the business events, one of the biggest ones in the area, that's sort of a friend of mine that we've known each other from lots of different networking things from the years, just beautiful person, very, very beautiful person, beautiful soul. She sent me a message and did an invite to a meeting for today. And there was two options, one in the morning or one in the afternoon, of these panel of experts. And she says, I know you're busy, but I want to offer you this. And see, here's the thing. That's what I've been looking at myself. I'm giving off a busy signal. I don't want to always look busy. I want room for more. I want to expand. So my old me would have said, sorry, you're right. I'm too busy. I have this project to do. And see, and I have all these things coming in that I'm bringing to form. So I have a lot to do. And I've learned to get in the middle of what's really intentional and what's in the flow and stay in the now. And I can't get to everything. So it's another layer of surrendering, letting go, and feeling like I'm just flying by the seat of my pants and staying in the now. And it's beautiful. And am I getting everything done? No. But I'm getting everything that needs to be done in this moment done. And in the end, it will all get done anyway. And it's teaching me to also let go on another layer of things that the details, maybe I don't need to know as many details or share as many details, and shift my delivery of things and things like that. That's bringing us back from 5D into 3D to get her done, get things to happen. So I'm feeling this shift of going some of this 5D energy into the 3D now, pulling back the balance between 3D and 5D, creating the harmony in that. So anyway, I go to this meeting and I say to her in the message and response is, thank you. I will make time to be there at this time. And I show up today, had the greatest panel of experts that all mostly were teaching what I teach. And it blew me away because some of the delivery, especially of this one particular one, I was like, oh my gosh, she's breaking down patriarchs. She's talking about, changing the structure, retemplating, and all of this stuff of a new way to handle things within all these corporations and all these businesses. And as she was saying this, I was just blown away, and actually by all of them. And I happened to go to the bathroom with a friend of mine after, just before I was leaving, and I make this comment that like, oh my gosh, most of them is teaching what I'm teaching, breaking down the patriarchs, retemplating the system. Well, I just so happened to come out of the stall, and this particular expert came out of the stall, and we had bathroom talk, she called it, where she says to me, I heard what you said. And she started pointing out, like it was like this instant thing. We went into the 5D, and instantly she was like saying, like, we have basically the same message and pretty much the same programs. And she starts talking, and I tell her I work with twin flames, and the patriarchs and the hierarchs and the templates were breaking down. And like she starts using terminology like light workers going in and taking us over. I go, I knew it. I knew when I was listening to her that she was out there breaking down these patriarchs and retemplating all of this. So we exchanged cards. I was so out there in the 5D. She gave me her card. When I went to give her mine, I gave her hers back. I was totally like blown away that we had just literally, see how things show up for you? See how they show up? And now this new direction I'm going with a lot of things I'm implementing. I even had clients contacting me at the same time I made the opening for the new space of these new services. Clients are coming to me, not even knowing I've opened them, and asking for them. And, and then I, show up in the space with this beautiful connection now that I'm going to be connecting with this beautiful other light worker that's out there templating things since 2002 that understands my language. And it's, in the community and building. That's one of the things I'm getting back into the community a little more in the 3D to anchor this energy and to template it and creating the space to be there. And on top of that, I had a friend message me that was actually there that says to me, I'm going to the Muni tonight. I have an extra ticket if you want to go. Well, I said, well, what time? I end with clients in just enough time to go. However, I have a project sitting on my desk that's been sitting there. I was trying to get it done. What do I want here? I created space asking for something fun to do and have more balance. That project will get done, but I'm going to go to the Muni. I'm going to go have some fun. I asked for it. I got to create the space for it. But look what turns up when we do it. That's how we win, folks. That's how we open the space. We trust this process. We get in our knowing. We, create more awareness about our own responsibility in this. We identify our intuition and know our truth. We then go speak it. We stand in it. We have respect for ourselves. We be open to receive the blessings and see our greatness in it. So it creates the acceptance and we become contagious and we can become inspirational and we're out there being intentional to share the message with others to go do the same. And so I challenge you to look around your life in any area. Pick one place you can face the fear and step forward. I've been doing this for a while, but I haven't piggybacked it with some of what's been going on with me in a while. And I wanted to do that today as an inspiration to get you moving and get you out there to become the best version of you so that you can be all that you can be in this lifetime. You do not have to wait because you were born to win. So be in it to win it. Okay? So be sure to like, comment, share the shine. Check out all the ways you can glow forward with me below. If you're still working on releasing some things, be sure to check out the complete your soul contract at the bottom. And may you always face your fears, find freedom, and glow forward on fire. Namaste.